How Gaara died and survived. Let's talk about some of the characters in Naruto who bit the dust. We've covered the first Hokage, the second Hokage, and now let's shift gears to another Kage. How about the one who died but still managed to make it back? That's right, Gaara of the Desert, the fifth Kazekage. Let's dive into his story. When we set the Hokages aside, I think the next Kage title that comes to mind for most people is Kazekage, the Shadow of the Wind. Seriously, do you remember your reaction when you found out Gaara had become the Kazekage? What an amazing moment. And my first thought was, imagine how powerful Gaara must be now. He must have surpassed Naruto, Sasuke, everyone. And honestly, I'd say it's nearly impossible to dislike Gaara. His character was brilliantly crafted, with an incredible evolution throughout the series. This is something important to highlight, because we genuinely admired the growth his character underwent, especially after the time skip. The once bloodthirsty boy became Naruto's ally, played a crucial role in the Sasuke retrieval arc, and 3 years later rose to the rank of Kazekage. He achieved Naruto's dream before Naruto himself. How amazing is that? But just when we thought we'd finally get to see Gaara in action, the guy dies. Seriously, what was that? Some kind of cruel joke? Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Thanks, guys, and let's get to 1,000 subscribers. For those who remember Gaara near the end of Shippuden, it might be a bit hard to recall what he was like during the original series. That bloodthirsty kid, the undefeated Genin, who shattered Rock Lee's dreams of becoming a ninja. After all, Gaara had the choice to spare Lee, but he decided to break him instead. That same boy, however, was actually at the center of a surprise attack orchestrated by the Hidden Sand Village. He and his team were key players in that ambush, and it all culminated in the unforgettable battle between Gaara and Naruto, a truly spectacular showdown. But guess what? Naruto won. The underdog triumphed and managed to convince Gaara that there was another way to deal with his pain and loneliness. After all, Naruto saw himself in Gaara. In essence, Gaara was what Naruto could have become if he had given in to hatred. But now it was time for change. Naruto's impact on Gaara's life was so profound that he abandoned the idea of being nothing more than a weapon. Gaara sought transformation, a new path where his talents and abilities would be used for something greater than destruction, for protecting others. This change of heart was why Gaara and his sand team traveled to Konoha to help rescue Sasuke. Of course, that mission didn't pan out. Then came the time skip. 2.5 years later, Gaara had risen to become the Kazekage. What army could possibly stand against him now? Well, this time it wasn't an army. It was just one person, and we all know who it was. It was Deidara, the Akatsuki's explosive artist. This was the opportunity the Akatsuki had been waiting for. As Deidara used every dirty trick in the book to take him down, Gaara unleashed all of his power to fight back while protecting his village. Seeing Gaara like this was truly inspiring. He was determined to prove that he wasn't a monster anymore, striving to undo the wrongs of his past and better understand Naruto, a person he knew shared the same dream of becoming a Kage. In some ways, Gaara had the upper hand against a member of the Akatsuki, but as much as he fought, he was also burdened with the responsibility of protecting his village, which was directly below the battlefield. And Deidara, he was fully aware of this. Deidara sent a massive bomb hurtling toward the village, forcing Gaara to divert all his energy to shield the people below. That moment of vulnerability was all Deidara needed. Gaara was defeated. His body was taken, and over the course of 3 days, Shukaku was extracted from him. The scenes of Gaara on the brink of death were absolutely heartbreaking. Watching someone who had endured so much suffering throughout his childhood, carrying the guilt of causing his mother's death, of killing his uncle, was devastating. All of that mental torment had shaped Gaara into the monster he once was. He genuinely believed he was a demon, and that belief defined him for so long. But then someone finally reached out to him, gave him light and showed him how to choose a better path. And just as he embraced that change, he died. Honestly, it felt so unfair to see that happen. Yes, Gaara was killed during the extraction of the tailed beast. The ninja assigned to rescue him arrived too late, and the Akatsuki successfully added another beast to their collection. But the story didn't end there. The woman who had sealed Shukaku inside Gaara in the first place, the master of poisons and puppets, Granny Chio, made a decision that would change everything. She chose to sacrifice herself to bring Gaara back. In a bittersweet twist, the very person who had played a direct role in turning Gaara into a monster now used a forbidden jutsu, Kisho Tensei, a life-for-life resurrection technique, to undo the damage. This jutsu was lost forever with Granny Chio, the only one who knew how to use it. Thanks to her sacrifice, but Gaara managed to return to the world of the living, continue his legacy and rewrite the wrongs he had committed as Kazekage.